Hello, everybody. Today we are going to study the remaining part of the topic, that is farm management. Now, in this portion, let us study the farm layout, farm planning, farm budgeting, and farm inputs. Let us go one by one. Farm layout. In this farm layout, we have to prepare farm layout for cultivation of various crops, and this layout consists of various other enterprises or other factors. So first it is a farmstead, or these are called farm buildings. Now these farm buildings include different other buildings. Second, the number, size and shape of the fields. Third, some other structures like threshing floor, farm roads, burns, manure pits, irrigation and drainage channels, farm fencing and others. So these three things must be included. Let us go one by one. First, in the farmstead, these are called farm buildings also. This contains a residential building of the farmer, residential building of the manager or farm manager. Nowadays, what is happening that farmers are having tendency to construct its residence, his residence in the farm and reside there. Now the concept of living in the village is going slowly. Now for that purpose, small home of the farmer is to be constructed, as well as small homes for the permanent laborers are also to be considered. So here in this case of farmstead, these are the different buildings, residential buildings of the laborers, farmer. Also we have to construct cattle shed, means where we have to rear our cattle, keep our cattle. Implement shed, in which we have to keep our implements, including tractor, plow, harrow and different other implements. We have to also construct a grain godown, which is used to keep temporarily grains before it is taken to market. Then fodder shed is also important. We have to supply fodder to the these animals. So all these farmstead, these buildings should not occupy area more than 2% of the total area. Otherwise, the entire area will go for the buildings, and we will have less area for agricultural production. Now the size of these structures depend upon the size of the farm, quality of soil. Generally, these buildings are to be erected in the farm at such area where the fertility is comparatively less, or where there is no irrigation facility available, so as to utilize maximum farm fields for agricultural production. Now along with this, generally a room of 4 by 3 meter along with a veranda as open space just in front of the building is also important. Laborers can be given residences of 3 by 1.75 meter space. Go down 15 by 7 meter is sufficient. So this is about 20 hectares. We may increase and decrease the area under these different buildings depending upon the availability of area. Second factor, number, size, shape and arrangement of these farm fields. Now we have to as possible divide the area available in equal number or multiple number as per the kinds of crops and number of crops we have to grow. So and because this is to be done as per the cropping program, cropping scheme, otherwise that will be of no use. Now, while constructing these farm buildings, different cares we have to take, that these buildings as possible should be located to receive sunlight. There should be sufficient ventilation, so wind, we have to construct in that way that wind direction is suitable, and that should be as possible, the building should be in the center of the farms to have access to the different plots. Then we also have to arrange that we can get green leaf manure and other to the farm. Buildings should be near to the source of water, means the farmer and the laborer need not to go long to fetch water. So the location of the building should be adjoining to each other. Then these cattle shed, fodder storage, manure pits should be adjacent to each other. Means we have to feed fodder to the cattle, so fodder storage should be close to cattle shed, and whatever dung and urine we get from the animals from the cattle shed to be taken to the manure pit. So these three constructions as possible should be close to each other. That will avoid our efforts and time. Now we also have to arrange these buildings as possible in rectangular shape. So this rectangular shape 2 or 2.5:1, that will save the area. So for this purpose we also have to consider topography of the farm. If the land is undulating, then it will be difficult for construction. We also have to consider source of irrigation, whether well or canal is available, and we also have to consider nature of farm enterprises, means which crop we are going to grow. So all these factors are to be considered before constructing farm buildings. Only important thing that all should be easily approachable. This is the principle. That means there should be no wastage of time and efforts and money. There are other structures to be made on the farm. These structures are like this. Number one, farm roads. If the area is 20 hectares, means it is a long area, we should have to have some approach road to carry inputs in the farm and take out the product to the market. So transport facility means a road, a small road which should be in position or should provide space to run carts, trucks or tractors. So for that purpose the width of the road, main road, should be 5 meter, and the adjoining secondary roads width should be 3 meter, and they should have right angle at the cross, so that will avoid wastage of space. Then drainage channels also should be made to take out excessive water from the roads, otherwise roads will get damaged very early. The second construction to be made in the farm, that is manure pits. This manure pit should be close to cattle shed, and the sizes may be different, 7 by 1.5 by 1 meter or 5 by 1.2 by 1 meter, means 7 meter long, 1.5 meter width, 5 meter width, 1.5 meter length, 7 meter long, 1.5 meter width and 1 meter depth. So two pits should be adjoining to each other. So in this way these are to be made. Now the irrigation and drainage channels are also to be made to check the erosion, because that will cause erosion in the farm. So as per the slope of the land, as per the topography of the land, the irrigation channel should be made. So these are the things. Another, that is fencing to be made to protect the farm, and this fencing can be made out of different things like uh, thorny plants can be grown, or sometimes we also use different other structures to erect fence all around the field. We can use dumpy stumps of thorny bushes. We can also use wooden posts, but wooden posts are very costly nowadays. These thorny bushes are good. Then mud or stone walls also can be used. Live fencing nowadays being used. Barbed wire is long lasting, good, but it is costly. Wooden poles with cement poles, wire fencing, it is costly, but the life is lengthy, more life. So electric wire fencing, it is not permitted in general areas, except where the field is adjoining to a forest, then only electric wire fencing is permitted. Nowadays solar fencing is also available, but now it is an initial stage, so it is costly. So here uh, these things are there. Now nowadays these karwand, babul, or some other thorny bushes also can be used as fencing. Now this kind of fencing depends upon the budget available with the farmer, also the availability of material, and one more thing, that as per the kind of or quality of the crop to be grown. If it is very costly, for example, hybrid seed production, then we have to take a costly wire fencing, because these fencings are important so as to prevent these stray cattle or wild animals like jackals and wild boar entering into the field. Otherwise such animals will damage the entire crops. Now this fencing supported by wooden, iron, or cement concrete or stone posts at a distance of 3 by 5 meter are generally used. Now this depends upon the topography of the land. There is no particular fixed criteria. Now total number of parallel wires may be from 4 to 6 or more, depending upon the protection we need. Now vertical distance is also to be considered. Vertical distance may be 15 centimeter from the ground level, and the poles should be at least 30 centimeter deep, and nowadays at least 4 feet above the soil level the poles are erected. Now come to the another point, farm planning. Now this farm planning is very important factor in successful farm management, so as to get maximum profit from the minimum input and minimum laborers and minimum time. So what is farm planning? Farm planning definition is given over here. Farm planning is a deliberate and conscious efforts on the part of the farmer to think about farm programs, technological developments, changes in the physical and economic situation, price structure, and others. So this is a farm planning, means we have to make the deliberate efforts for farm programs as per the technology available. If planning is not done, then there is a more possibility of great loss of the inputs. Now this farm planning is to be done very much in advance as per the requirement. Now which are the advantages of farm planning? First is income improvement. When planning is done, it increases income because of coordination between all actions, all activities to be done, coordination between the laborers and the manager, coordination between the purchaser and the seller, and it will also maximize the profit by reducing the cost of cultivation, reducing the cost of production. So, this is the one thing. Second, that educational process. Farming is an educational process. Means every time we learn something from the crops which we had grown during the last season, which mistakes if we have committed that can be corrected in the next season. So we get knowledge of the latest technology advances in agriculture. Now presently we have got technology, and we are getting information about the advanced technology through this YouTube and different various channels specially made for agriculture, different internet sites. Now many agricultural research institutes of the government and private sectors have started their own websites and own YouTube channels. TV channels are also there. So we get the knowledge, we update the knowledge. That is the benefit of farm planning. Another third point is that desirable organizational changes. We can make changes wherever necessary, and this is important. This organization, farm organization and operations, are important for farm valuable units. Valuable units means every unit in the farm has its own value. For example, cultivation of sugarcane, it is one unit. Cultivation of cotton, another unit. Animal husbandry, another unit. Dairies, dairies, another unit. Likewise, there are different units, sericulture and poultry. So these units are valuable and they are useful. They are supplementary to each other. So planning makes easy for us to make the changes in the organization. Another benefit, that planning minimizes uncertainty. If there is uncertainty about the various factors like uncertainty about climatic changes, uncertainty about price reduction, uncertainty about prices of the inputs like fertilizers, manures, etc., we can minimize the loss. Last one, that is the planning facilities coordination. This coordination is to be made, so efforts are to be taken to have coordination amongst different departments and groups. Now, this is all about farm planning. Let us stop here. In the next lecture, we shall study about the objectives of a good farm plan.